My name is Chase Harris. I am from Logan, Utah, in Cache Valley, northern part of Utah. Well, I was born and raised in Idaho, small town, working on the farm. That was a lot of my fun activities growing up, was moving pipe, baling hay, working with my dad out in the field. As I excelled and did well in sports, I began to be contacted by different universities for opportunities to continue playing sports beyond high school. And I was in particular contacted by Utah State University, which is where I ultimately decided to play football. I'm not gonna lie, it is an awesome experience to walk out into a stadium that has 100,000 fans, especially when it's an opposing team stadium. And you hear boos coming down as you're coming out onto the field, and the decibels are ringing in your ears because the stands are going crazy. It feels like an earthquake is happening right there underneath you. There's nothing that can beat that exhilaration. All that hard work and that dedication and that time that you put in, the blood, the sweat, the tears are very true. And having walked out onto a football field, getting ready to play a football game, it can be taken away in an instant with an injury. There's nothing that tests your own will stronger than to have something ripped away from you that you've worked hours to get to feel that your body is performing at its best, and to then 1 second have it ripped away from you, and that there's nothing you can do. It is a tough life working on the farm and playing sports. Geez, where do I start? I have a list of injuries from working on the farm and playing sports. From hyperextending my left knee twice. One was in high school as I was throwing a pass. A defender came into my knee and hyperextended it backwards. The second time was in college. I was running a route and just coming to a stop, and my weight, as the ground slid underneath me, my weight came over top and I hyperextended my knee for the second time. I've separated both of my shoulders, my left and my right, probably double-digit times combined between the two. I've suffered several concussions, broken collarbone. Once the playing time ends and you hang up the helmet and you hang up the jersey for the last time, you're still young enough that you don't necessarily feel the long-term effects in that moment. But as I continued to get older, that's when I noticed my knee that I mentioned with the 2 hyperextensions. I noticed that I would never really straighten my leg all the way, and I kind of walked with a little bit of a limp because it consistently hurt. Sometimes it was more of a dull pain, other times it was more of a sharp pain. And with my shoulder, my left shoulder in particular, that was one that I had bigger shoulder separations. And it took several years before I was able to comfortably lay down on my left side because of those separations. And I had done rehab to an extent, but the pain was still consistently there, enough that I couldn't lay on my left side, as I mentioned, for several years. And I had resigned myself that without seeking expensive surgeries, I had resigned myself that that's how the rest of my life was going to be. I was going to consistently walk with a little bit of a limp in my left leg, and it would probably get worse as I got older. And I would consistently feel the little bit of pain in my left shoulder whenever I laid on my left side. I did a Master in Business Administration while I was at Utah State, and I knew that things were going to grow in Cache Valley and Logan, in my hometown. And I wanted to be on the forefront of that and take advantage of that, of of bringing in a business that can help support myself and my wife and my kids, and something that we can build up and build together as a family. I had always kept an eye open for more natural type remedies or ways that I could have a treatment or work through some type of protocol that was more natural, rather than having to take pills for the pain not to be there, or some type of expensive invasive surgery. And as I was looking into several different businesses, several different franchises, I came across PIBCOA, the Pain, Injury, and Brain Centers of America. I researched it for 2 years. I spoke with Tammy Wadsworth, the franchisor who started this, laid the whole foundation for this, and built it to what it is today. And she probably got a little annoyed with how many questions that I had and the amount of time that I took in putting in the research, because I didn't believe in just a miracle pill or one single thing can cure all. I wanted to understand the science behind it and how it worked and why it worked, and that's what I spent the 2 years doing. I have a brother who likewise played college football, and he has injuries as well. I have another brother-in-law who also played college football, and he has several injuries. And my other brother-in-law, he ran track in college, and he has several injuries as well. And he's also has his doctorate degree in physical therapy. And the four of us, we went on an adventure to the closest clinic at the time, which was about 6 hours away. And we sat and we asked them every question you could think of under the moon. And we had two of my brother-in-laws, because of time, they did 2 treatments each per day over 3 days. After the 6 treatments in 3 days, we had narrowed down the pain in my brother-in-law's forearm from the torn muscle. It went from midway from his bicep all the way down to his wrist was the pain, and it had narrowed down to about the size of a ping pong ball. And my brother with the chronic pain in his back, he noticed after the 6 treatments in the 3 days that he no longer felt the pain, chronic pain, and to loosen up his back, it took him about 10 minutes instead of about 30 minutes to loosen up his back. And that's when it confirmed what I had read and the science that I had read, and that confirmed it for me. And I went home immediately, talked with my wife, and shared with her everything that I'd seen and everything that I'd read, and we'd made the decision at that point to open up a franchise in Logan so that we could likewise help people with similar type injuries that were holding them back in their life. And once we first received the equipment, one of the first things I did was had my wife treat my knee. The chronic pain that I'd had for over 20 years in my left knee, and I couldn't straighten it out all the way because of the pain. After almost 30 treatments, it was just under 30 treatments, and the pain literally was gone. I've been married with my beautiful wife, Alexandria, for almost 10 years, and we have 3 beautiful kids, with a 4th one who's going to be here in April of this next year in 2021. And I think of the future with them and being able to do simple tasks, running up and down the stairs, playing around in the living room, running outside in the backyard, and spending time with them in general, going on walks, knowing that I now can have that without pain. The equipment absolutely performs better than I expected. And it's awesome to be able to see how it works, how it performs, and the plethora of different ailments, both physically, mentally, and how it's been able to help restore people spiritually as well. To treat a patient and to see them get better I would equate it to walking out on that football field and having 100,000 people cheering and looking down at you and feeling that joy and that happiness, and knowing that you've helped someone along their path to be better. There is no better feeling. There is nothing more fulfilling than seeing the joy on their face and to have them express that they no longer feel pain, that they're able to do things, tasks, whatever it may be, that they hadn't been able to do for years. And that fulfillment is about the best word that I can think of right here in this moment, that it provides for me. Plans in the future for PIBCOA is to scream it from the rooftops and to let people know that there is hope, that there is an option out there to be able to help restore their life to where they want it to be.